Match 16 of the 2017-18 Premier League season had many twists and turns. However, there were three key games I looked at in depth. Power shift in full swing. The Manchester Derby. City were victorious and deserved winners of this derby. They outplayed United for most of the game. David Silva opened the scoring on the 43rd minute, but the lead was cut short as Marcus Rashford levelled on the stroke of half-time. Nicolas Otamendi, an unlikely scorer, grabbed the winner in the 54th minute and extended their lead at the top of the table to 11 points. With their derby triumph, Manchester City have equalled the Premier League's record winning run of 14 games. But can City keep up this run? City have scored 45 goals in 14 games, conceding just 10 goals. In their last 4 games in September, they scored 17 goals. 10 different players have scored for City during their winning run. Aguero, Jesus, and Sterling have contributed 8 goals apiece. Elsewhere in the Premier League, when will Chelsea stop capitulating? Many would have predicted the reigning champions would have swept away their London rivals, with their opponents being West Ham. But after taking an early lead courtesy of a Marko Arnautovic strike, the Hammers stunned Chelsea with a 1-0 victory over the champions at the London Stadium. Following their shock defeat by West Ham, Chelsea manager Antonio Conte said some things that caused a bit of a social media storm. He conceded that it's impossible to fight for the title. He said, "This is the 4th defeat in 16 games. In my previous experience, when you lose 4 games in the season, it's impossible to stay and fight for the title. If you say you want to stay in a race for the title in the first place, you shouldn't be losing the first part of the season. You can only lose once or twice." Sticking with the West Ham victory, can David Moyes silence the doubters again? No one expected relegation threatened West Ham to overcome 3 of the top 6 teams during their first 3 games in December. With a narrow loss against Manchester City and a shock win against Chelsea, manager David Moyes will be looking to pull off another shock win against the Gunners, who needed a clutch Olivier Giroud header to rescue a point from their trip to Southampton. Meanwhile, how is Claude Puel restoring the 2016 feeling back at Leicester? Leicester City added to their wins against Spurs and Burnley with an away win against Newcastle United. Goals by man of the match Mahrez and youngster Demarai Gray proved that Leicester weren't leaving without a win. With 4 minutes to go, Ayoze Perez handed Leicester their 3rd win on the bounce as he poked the ball into his own net in the 86th minute, trying to prevent Shinji Okazaki scoring, giving Leicester a breathtaking 3-2 victory at St James's Park. Claude Puel should take some credit here for revitalising Leicester. He has restored that great attacking football and neat, decisive passing that we all know Leicester can do. He has got them moving into the right direction and gathering momentum through this festive period. He has changed the identity of the Foxes, stopping their one-dimensional style of football. Here's how. By finding different ways to beat the opponent. Not relying on Vardy to score, more composed play, especially with Albrighton profiting, and interchanging link-up with Demarai Gray and Riyad Mahrez. The Foxes now will go in search of their 4th successive Premier League victory at Southampton on Wednesday. Lastly, how far can Harry go? Harry Kane is in fine form. He is closing in on an extraordinary league milestone set by none other than Alan Shearer. Kane has scored 33 times in 32 league matches. However, Alan Shearer first set the record for the most Premier League goals in a calendar year while at Blackburn, when he scored 36 goals in 1995. This leaves Kane 4 opportunities to break this illustrious record: 2 games at Wembley against Brighton and Southampton, followed by trips to Burnley and a well-anticipated top 6 clash at Manchester City. And now to wrap things up. No one has done this before, so I thought I'd give it a go. Here is my Premier League Hall of Fame. And now my inaugural Premier League Hall of Fame inductee goes to a man who used to score goals for fun. Former Blackburn, Newcastle legend and England striker, Alan Shearer. He is Newcastle's top goal scorer, and he holds the record for the most Premier League goals with 260. He was named Football Writers Association Player of the Year in 1994 and won the PFA Player of the Year award in 1995. A year later, he was ranked third in the FIFA World Player of the Year awards. Nowadays, you can see him on Match of the Day, analysing Premier League games and passionately ranting about his beloved Newcastle. Alan Shearer, welcome to my Hall of Fame.